Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
Thank you for joining us. My name is Simon Javan Okelo, and I am here with my brother Tutaleni, who is going to, I'm going to introduce Tutaleni in just a moment. And I'm just grateful that we are all here for another daily African Proverbs session on Clubhouse and also on YouTube. We just went live on YouTube, and Brother Tutaleni has been an amazing, supporter of the work that I've been doing here on Clubhouse and also elsewhere. Now we are on YouTube, but I've been learning a lot about the work that you do, Brother Tutaleni, and I feel like we've built a really strong community just in the past year. And for those who are meeting Brother Tutaleni, he's the founder of the Namibia House Club on Clubhouse. He's an associate professor of educational technology and director of the Emerging Technology and Creativity Research Lab in the College of Education and Human Sciences at Oklahoma State University. Brother Tutaleni, I would love for you to just share with us your interpretation of today's proverb from Namibia, so that we can get today's session started. The proverb says, "A parasite cannot live alone." So feel free to introduce yourself and then share your interpretation, and then we'll continue with the conversation. Thank you so much.
Brother Simon, thank you so much for the invitation. It's always great to be with you and to learn from you. We've been at this for a while. We connected through through your club, through the proverbs that you offer every day, and of course, I loved our work on Africa Day, which was just phenomenal. Such a great team that you're able to pull together and get us all to work towards one common goal. So thank you as always for your leadership on all these areas and so many more. Parasite cannot live alone. That's the proverb for today. It's when we think of a parasite, we don't think of it as necessarily something good. We think of it as a negative thing. A parasite, we usually think of somebody who's sucking blood from you and dependent on you, and the parasite should be removed because it's not contributing anything. So that we usually have a negative perspective of that. But I think for me, what I'm taking away from this proverb is really the interdependentness and the interconnectedness of life, of where we are, that we are all dependent on something. We're all dependent on someone, and we can't live that we cannot live with. So a parasite cannot really live alone because it's dependent on the sustenance and the blood of another living thing. So we are all really connected, even though the image of a parasite is not necessarily something that's positive. I think what this proverb calls us to is a recognition and a reminder that we're all really connected and dependent on each other. So that's my takeaway from it.
Yeah, thank you very much. You're saying that we are all, connected and dependent on each other. We can't live on our own. So the parasite is a part of us, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Great. Welcome everyone to the Daily African Proverbs. My name is Simon Javan Okelo. I am in Seattle, Washington, and our special guest is Tutaleni Asino, who is an amazing leader, and he just shared with us his interpretation of today's proverb. If you're in the room, I encourage you to join us on stage. If you're in the room on Clubhouse, if you are on YouTube, thank you so much. I actually want to quickly just give a shout out to Brother Ivnia, Joanne, Raphael. Thank you really for always showing up every day and supporting, whether it's on Clubhouse, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on WhatsApp. I'm just so grateful, because this kind of work is not easy, and just seeing people showing up consistently is just great. I want to just go ahead and welcome Zizi as well in the room. I want to give Zizi a chance to share with us her interpretation. Then I'll come back to my interview format, because I had a few questions that I wanted to discuss with Tutaleni, but Zizi is an elder, so we want to give elders space. Zizi, share with us your interpretation of today's proverb. And if you're meeting Zizi for the first time, her real name is Zena Mubaraka Gatit. Zizi is an 85-year-old wonderful human being. She's been a real supporter of the work we do here in the Daily African Proverbs. So I just because of that respect, I want to just give her time to share now, so that in case you have to go elsewhere, we free you. But Zizi says that wear gratitude like a clock, and it will feed every corner of your life. That's a quote from Rumi. Zizi, go ahead and share your interpretation, please.
Well, my interpretation is that if you are a person who sucks people's energy and love and everything, and you don't give back, you're going to be, it's true, not alone, but you will be rejected and pushed away, and maybe like people will take antibiotics or whatever to get rid of you. So you're sort of hanging in there with not anything sturdy or like love or giving and all that. So any parasite is not really welcome, and it doesn't come alone, but it's coming alone in a very bad situation, which is not very secure, very unstable. So let's hope that we only become givers, not parasites. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Giving and all that. So any parasite is not welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Welcome again to the Daily African Proverbs. I want to go back to the first segment of this interview. For the next 20 minutes, you'll be hearing a lot more from our brother Tutaleni I Asino, who is our special guest today. And then after that, we are going to open the floor so that we can hear from all of you. If you want to see Tutaleni, you can join us on YouTube. We are live streaming this conversation. My YouTube channel is Simon Javan Okelo, my full names. We do this every single day, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And when we are here, we are making our ancestors smile. We are making them proud, because we are using African proverbs in our day-to-day lives. And that's something that they did as well. And our hope is that our children can also do it. That's why we are here producing this amazing show every single day. Brother Tutaleni, you've been to the Daily African Proverbs. I feel sometimes I almost say it for years, because every day in the Daily African Proverbs, or a day on Clubhouse, or even a day in the pandemic is like a year these days, and I feel that you are someone that has watched us experiment, make mistakes, grow. I wanted you to just maybe paint the picture of your experience with the Daily African Proverbs to those who are just new to it. And then I want us to go to a few other questions in relation to, the amazing work you do professionally, and then a little bit to the work you do with the Namibia House here on Clubhouse. And welcome everyone on YouTube as well. Joanne, I see you. Raphael, I see you. And Ivnia, I also see you. Thank you so much. Tutaleni.
I get mad if I go a day where I'm not able to get into the room. So Simon, when you pull the switch on us to an hour earlier, it shook me a little bit because I was like, what is happening here? My schedule has been thrown off because I got so used to a certain hour of joining and just learning. So I think it's an amazing space that you have created, that you curate on a regular basis, because it's so many of us from all over the place. We are all interconnected in so many different ways. And it's not just African people who are in the room. You also have people from other parts of the globe as well who come in as far as Japan, Korea, and so forth. So it's been a wonderful space to see grow. It's been a wonderful place for us to to share with each other, and to learn from each other. And you pick proverbs from all over the continent, and all of us get to reflect on them. I've never been to Kenya, but I feel like I've experienced a lot of culture from Kenya because of these proverbs. I would love to go to Mali, but I haven't, and I learn about culture from there through all of these. And today, of course, we are reflecting on a Namibian proverb. So it's this journey that we're all in, um, which you provide for us through the daily African proverb. So it's a great space to wake up to and center your day.
Thank you very much, Tutaleni. I'm grateful. Yes, sometimes it's just good to reflect and bring back the memories of why we do this every day, and also, educate people. And for me, I think it's a reminder, to continue being persistent. But now I want you to just share with us, take us to a journey, to Namibia, because today's proverb is from Namibia. And for those who are joining the room, for the next 16 minutes, you're going to hear, responses from Tutaleni and questions from me. Then right after that, we're going to ask those who are on stage on Clubhouse to also share their interpretation of today's proverb, and also, share any feedback or comments about our conversation with Tutaleni. Then right after that, we are going to go live on Instagram to do the recap of the Daily African Proverbs today. So I will let you know who is going to help me co-host it at that time. But Tutaleni, take us on a journey. Recently you went to Namibia, and I was really a little jealous because you went to Namibia right in the middle of the pandemic, and I was like, wow, that's what I should be doing. But I want you to, share with us just what you saw in brief, your favorite spot that you went to, the food, and what you missed the most about this most recent trip.
I contextualize most of my experiences around food. Obviously because I like food, but also because food is an event that you partake in with family and loved ones, with friends. So for me, most of my time in Namibia is around food because I get to meet um, friends, family. This time when I went home from the pandemic, it was a bit sad because we're not able to gather as much. You know, um, I always say that Africans don't do anything alone, and specifically as Namibians, and if depending on where you live, if there's scarcity of water, you don't even wash yourself alone. You share water with your siblings and so on. So we are very close, we touch, we hug, we sit close to each other. So um, if there was a disease that is as anti-African, as anti-Namibian as it could be, is COVID, because it really took away that proximity that we have been so used to for decades and even perhaps centuries. So that was difficult, to not being able to hug your family, to not be able to shake hands with your elders, to not be able to sit close to them and bask in their wisdom. So that was very difficult. But for me, there's a Namibians, we are fond of saying that Namibia is the land that God made last, after He made everything else and He saved all the best for us. But I'm sure every other African has a similar saying about where they come from. So one of the things that I love to do is just go to the coast. You've not seen anything on Earth until you see the dance between the Namib Desert and the Atlantic Ocean. It is just such quite a beautiful scene to see. I love being home. I was happy and fortunate to have been able to go there. Of course, there was also sadness because of the wreck or the havoc that COVID has caused in the country. But it was still good to engage at least with some loved ones.
Thank you so much. I actually have a favor to ask. Do you happen to have headphones by any chance?
I do.
Yeah, let's see if those will take away there's an echo. Joanne on YouTube is saying that there's an echo, and let's make that sound as perfect as we can. For everyone who is just joining us on Clubhouse, this is an amazing conversation with my amazing brother Tutaleni I Asino. Tutaleni is an amazing leader. He helped us make Africa Day possible. He connected us with the previous Under Secretary General of the UN that focuses on African affairs, and also the current Under Secretary General. Both of them attended the event. And since then, he has continued to grow the Namibia Club here on Clubhouse. He's invited the current First Lady of Namibia to their club. Most recently, I think there was a spokesperson for the Africa Union, and I think Mama Beans. I would love for you to actually just share with the room about Mama Beans at some point during our conversation, because I think she's such an amazing orator, but also an amazing leader, African leader that many people don't know enough about. This is my problem with our people. When women do amazing things like what Mama Beans has been able to do, I don't think we sing their songs enough. And I just wanted us to maybe say a minute or so about her. Anyhow, talk about Mama Beans for just a second, and how you are able to bring her on, and how you are able to work with leaders to bring them on platforms like Clubhouse. I definitely have to say that it's always hard for me to bring high-profile people to Clubhouse. It takes a lot of work. You have to know people well to be able to bring them to a new platform. And you do that really well, and you do it consistently. So I wanted you to just speak to, Miss Beans a little, and then speak to how you're able to bring this type of leaders to this platform. And then I want to go to the real question I had.
Sure. Beans Kaunas is a lawyer by profession, advocate Beans Kaunas, who was a commissioner at the African Union, and also was the Undersecretary for the United Nations, focusing on African affairs. So she is a powerhouse, and Simon, as you say, she's a great orator. You sit in with her for a few seconds and you leave inspired. A few seconds in her presence are like a few days in the presence of many of us who are not as well equipped with words. She's just a phenomenal human being, has had a lot of life experiences, from going into exile for Namibia's independence to being in prison and all of that stuff. But she brings all that pain, all that experience, all that knowledge and wisdom, and nourishes us in so many ways. So she has now become a regular in the club, and every last Thursday of the month we have conversations with Auntie Beans. but we just talk about anything. We ask her questions. She share with us her stories and so forth. So that's always great to have. I always feel guilty a bit when someone says that I do a good job of curating the Namibian House Club, because it's not really just me. We have such a brilliant team of people who put this together, right? So, and I think some of them are even in the room right now. I see Josephine in there, who runs our career and jobs and career room, and they have tons of really good guests, and we have a pretty big speaker coming up in that space on the room takes place on Wednesday, I think in 2 weeks. So stay tuned. I'm not able to reveal that because she will reveal it herself, but it's a major African leader who will be joining us. But what I loved about Clubhouse, what I love about Namibia House, and what has also was prevalent in the organization of the Africa Day example, is that it's people coming together. It's Simon saying, "Hey, I know so and so who I think would be a good connection," right? It's me saying, "Hey, I know this person who knows that person." It's really just a curation of a great team of people who get together. Most of the, even when the first lady came in, it's not because I have a connection with the first lady. It's because somebody who was in the house says, "Hey, I can get us so and so," and we pull together in the same direction. It's really amazing when we work together towards a common goal what we can achieve. And I think for me, that is really the biggest learn that I have learned from my experience in the media house. It's not just me; it's a lot of us who are pulling together.
Thank you so much, Tutaleni. I do want, before I go to the next question, there's high demand on YouTube. If you look at the comments, for you to talk about,
Yes.
Talk about your favorite sports in Namibia, and also food. I think people missed that, so
Yeah.
your favorite sport or Namibia's, biggest sport, and then and then food just one more time. And the next question is actually connected to what you just said. The next question is in relation to what you do in regards to your research and writing and presentations that revolve around emerging technologies and education, and how you're diffusing mobile devices in teaching and learning. That's the area I want us to focus on once you focus on food and sports.
Yes. Sports. Well, recently, the last month or two, especially around the Olympics, Namibia has been having really great luck. Well, not great luck, just been really a great success with our track and field stars. If you have not heard of Christine Bommer, and then, she's a phenomenal track star. She's only 18 years old, and she's been breaking records left and right. So that was important, especially around the pandemic when we all felt like there was nothing else good happening, to have a Namibian athlete who was uplifting her in such a way. And they tried to break her because she was even banned from competing in the 400, which was her main event. So she competed in the 200 and did phenomenally well, even though they tried to keep her out of it. And she's been doing just a fantastic job. So I think Namibia has been a bit more successful in the track and field arena, with, of course, Frankie Fredericks, who set the stage for many years. As far as food, oh my goodness, the first thing that I do when I get home is eat biltong. Biltong is basically dried meat, uh, and that's the first thing that I eat. Namibians, we love meat. If you provide us a meal without meat, we probably would look at you and say, "Where's the food?" Because that's what we do. And we have braai, kapana, as we like to call it, which is just really grilling of meat, all kind of meat. So that for me is, I don't, I don't want to start fights on this platform, Simon, but I believe that there's no meat better than Namibian meat. So if anybody wants to take me on that, I'll gladly welcome the challenge. So, but for me, that's really what the food is all about.
Wow. Thank you so much. Welcome everyone to the Daily African Proverbs. This is Simon here, and Simon Okello is my name for those who are just joining the room. We do the Daily African Proverbs every single day since January. We recently changed the time to 6 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We wanted to be able to live stream it on YouTube the way we are doing now, and also the school season started here in Seattle where I live. So to make this room, beautiful like it has always been, and also manageable with getting my kids to school, I had to start this earlier. And it's beautiful because it works for a lot of people in Africa too. This is early evening in most of Africa. Anyhow, today my special guest is Tutaleni Asino, and we've been learning a lot, not just about him and Namibia and the Namibia house here on Clubhouse, but also, about social issues, a little bit about technology. We just want to go back into technology and the work that, our brother Tutaleni is doing around, his research is around the emerging technologies in education, and how is diffusing mobile devices in teaching and learning, mobile learning, design for mobile devices, indigenous knowledge. I want you to talk to us. Just take your time and share with us a little more about it. We want to learn from you, but especially, why is this important for Africa right now? Why is this important for people of African descent globally? That's the audience that I love to address. So take a moment and share with us, my brother. Oh, Tutaleni, if you're there. I actually I suspected that your Bluetooth might not be connected because you always sound so clean. But today there is a bit of an echo in the background, a constant sound. But it's okay. We can keep going.
I think my
oh, it's perfect.
Okay, let's go with that. I'll mute my my computer mic and go with this. Can you hear me okay?
It's beautiful.
All right. I think I'm a bit frozen on the computer, but I think you're asking about indigenous knowledge, research and work, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. I've been passionate about this work for really one main reason. And the main reason there for me is that I have been obsessed with trying to get to know myself in the way that makes sense to me. Because as a child who grew up in an apartheid system, a country that was not independent, and as an African whose history has been, in a lot of ways, being taught through the lens of somebody else rather than people who look like me, I've always been really fascinated and curious about learning about myself more. And I didn't know the words for that until I went to started my PhD program, and I met a phenomenal scholar by the name of Ladislav Samali, who is from Tanzania. And he did a lot of work around indigenous knowledge. In yesterday's proverb, I mentioned him again when he used to mock me. He would say that, look, you can speak English all you want, but you'll never be an Englishman. No matter how many years you speak English, you will never be an Englishman. He forced me to really think through about, okay, how do we do things? And why is it? What do we know about ourselves, and who do we know it from? There's a lot of things that we learn that at the same time is minimizing who we are, whether it's our own traditional knowledges, whether it's our traditional medicines and things of that nature. So I think for me, indigenous knowledge is really about knowing who you are and celebrating who you are and celebrating your knowledge. There's a lot of traditional knowledges that are getting lost because our elders are not around anymore, and we need to really find a way to capture that. So I'm passionate about that because for me, it's selfishly a way of getting to know myself a bit more.
Yeah, I love it. I love it because if you can make your passion your job, and somebody else pays you to focus on your passion like that, I think it's beautiful. Um, I do want to check in with there are a lot of questions that people are throwing at us that I want to include in our conversation today. So before we do that, I know that at this time we also need to give space for Lexi and David and John and Kate and of course Ivnia, brother Ivnia is here as well to weigh in on today's conversation. So Tutaleni, thank you again for being here. I'm sure that there's going to be maybe a question or comment directed at you, but I want to quickly introduce Lexi so that Lexi can also share with us her interpretation of today's amazing proverb from Namibia, where our brother Tutaleni comes from. And Lexi is a voiceover artist. She was also a guest here in the Daily African Proverbs not too long ago. She really inspired us by a very, very simple act of smiling. She has an infectious smile, and we spent a lot of time talking about the power of that. So she's a voiceover artist by choice, and people love her voice, really. She's addressed for Les Guru, Queen of Forgiveness, and the lady with the sunshine smile. Okay, Lexi, share with us your interpretation of today's proverb. The proverb says that a parasite cannot live alone. Thank you so much.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I just want to first say wow to Delaney. Wow. You really did. Like, everything you said resonated with me. I can't even really point out one part of what you said because everything that you spoke today really did resonate with me. And I know you guys probably noticed I was flashing my mic. That's just an applause to what he was sharing with us today. It really did touch me. So, with that, my perspective on the proverb, I really loved what Tutalini's perspective and Zizi's perspective was because they both correlated and tied in with what I was thinking. Because, and I'll share, I was thinking that, like, we all literally, if you think about it, if you sit back and think, we all literally start out as parasites because we're in our mother's bodies. What are we giving to her? Nothing. We're taking everything and giving her nothing. We're giving her a beautiful life once we arrive. But then once we arrive, if you really sit back and think, when do we ever live alone and not get information, love, encouragement, anything you want to think about in a positive, like Tutalini said, and even in a negative sense? We are all choosing what nutrients, which is information, food, love, caring, the feelings, emotions, vibes, we all choose what vibes we want to let in. We all choose what vibes we're going to take. There's people in life that I know everybody in this room have learned something from and haven't taught that person anything or given that person anything. You got that information from them and you gave them nothing. That's very parasitic. So I love that positive twist that Tuzolini put on it, because that's what I was thinking. Like, we all are literally, if you think about it, sit back and think again, we are parasites to the earth. What are we doing for the earth? A lot of people litter. I can't stand to see a person litter. That, like, really, like, hurts me a little. Because I'm like, we have to take care of the earth. But what do we do for it? There are some people, many, 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 many people that love the earth, like me, and try to take care of it. Try to keep it clean. Try to take care and make sure the water is clean because we know we got to drink it. Come on. It's like not rocket science. But there are other people, just like ZZ said, that just go around frivolously doing what they want to do, just throwing trash, throwing trashy thoughts around, throwing trashy vibes around. We all catching it. We catching it. That's parasitic behavior. Okay? We never live alone, do we? Anybody live alone in seclusion or recluse? Anybody live alone? No. Nope. And that is what I thought when I heard, the proverb for today. And I, was like, wow, it really did make me feel like we all really do begin our life like that. And we live in a world that we are parasites to. You know what I'm saying? What do we, it's people that do give to the world and give to the earth, I should say, just to be specific. They give to the earth, but there are people that take away. ZZ, we know that. You got to watch out for them ones that take away. That's when you have to use your ability to choose, because we all have that ability. What you going to choose? And that's why we are given, I believe, the and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now, but like we always have an option. You always have a choice to do what is considered quote unquote right or what is considered quote unquote wrong. You know what I'm saying? Based on societal views, background, environment, whatever you want to say. But yeah, okay, that was my perspective. I feel like I'm rambling now, but that is what I felt. I just love what I'm hearing up here today. And thank you again, Simon. Thanks, everyone in the room. I'm Lexi, and I am out.
Thank you so much, Lexi. I'm always grateful to hear your perspectives and your words of wisdom. And thank you again. You're deeply appreciated. Let's hear from David. But before that, for anyone who is joining the Daily African Proverbs for the first time, we normally turn off hand raising at 6:30 a.m. So if you saw that happen 10 minutes ago, that's why. And also, this is a space that is open for everyone. It doesn't matter your religion, the color of your skin, how much you have in your bank account. We are here to make our ancestors proud by discussing African proverbs every day and learning African wisdom from each other every single day and building a strong community that helps to change the narrative about Africa. So today's proverb is from Namibia, and our guest is also from Namibia, and on YouTube right now, where we're also live streaming today's conversation. The chat is filled with a conversation about meat, because Tutaleni said that Namibia has the best meat. And so Joanne is like a meat expert. She's giving us a lot of facts about the quality of Namibian meat, and how Kenya is also exporting meat in huge numbers. So I'm learning a lot just by having Tutaleni here, having Joanne here. Everybody in this room is valued and respected. So we want to hear from David, who is another contributor to the Daily African Proverbs. David has also helped with a number of initiatives we've done on Clubhouse and also off Clubhouse in real life. And we're also doing a lot of amazing things together, especially the African Wisdom Club happening every Friday at 8:30 p.m. PST. So connect with David if you want to be a guest for that, or if you want to learn more. David, share with us your interpretation for today's proverb. And real quick, just to introduce David for those who might be meeting him for the first time, his goal is to end poverty by addressing basic human rights for the marginalized. And his focus is on SDG 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 11. He's a social entrepreneur and an IT specialist. David, share with us your interpretation of today's proverb that says, "A parasite cannot live alone." This is a Namibian proverb. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you, Simon, for that beautiful introduction. And thank you to Taleni for joining in and bringing a very positive perspective on what's going on in your country, in education, and also in technology. It's just so positive. And also thank you, Lexi, Kay, Venia, Joanne, for joining on stage, and all the rest also that are in the audience, as well as followed by speaker section. See, I was just listening. Initially when I saw this, my mind actually went back to my high school days, and those days when you did copy somebody's homework, we used to refer to that person as a parasite. But then listening to Taleni and Lexi, it looks like there is definitely a positive side of what a parasite is. For me, I've always think of a parasite as somebody who drains, blood from an animal, or it drains nutrients from a plant purposely, actually to render them useless or cause harm or even kill. So that is the way I've been seeing. But then listening to Lexi talking about, before birth, that we are in our mom's womb, and then we select the right nutrients, we are parasite, but somehow we don't cause harm. That is really kind of a different perspective that I did not really think about. So I want to say mostly the way I looked at this is that as a parasite, or rather parasitic relationship, is one that normally cause harm. A parasite lives in an organism and their purpose is to cause harm. And that in real life situation, there are many parasitic relationships. It could be sometimes a parasite causing toxic situation. It could be an obsession over something, like maybe extreme love of alcohol or gambling. It could be also your profession, which is dragging you down, maybe at work, the work situation, instead of encouraging you to grow, it's dragging you down. It could be sometimes even family-related issues and all that. And then I was always thinking that parasites are very dangerous and must be removed from the host, or if they are not removed from the host, they'll cause damage. And also, they kind of say that, a parasite lives in the host. If the host does not exist, the parasite will not exist. But I think probably my interpretation after listening to previous speakers might be a little bit on the far end of the conversation. I would just want to add that, we have to be aware of the parasite situations we have in our life, because if you do not address them, then finally you are the ones who is going to fall a victim of the situation. So at one point I even said that whereas the proverbs say a parasite cannot live alone, I actually thought that a parasite cannot live at all unless there is a host. So this is David speaking. Thank you, Simon. I'm done for now, and I will make the mic to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David, for your share as well, and your beautiful words of wisdom. Let's hear quickly from Kay and Ivnia and Joanne, and then we'll hear from Tutaleni just quickly, so that we let him go. He has to run to another meeting, but we want to hear from him. So we will go to Kay, who is also another amazing, contributor to the Daily African Proverbs. Kay, I hope you're doing well. And Kay is Atlanta-based, destined to live in Ghana. She says, please spell ancestors with a capital A. We came from the Creator and we return. Wow, thank you so much. She has a beautiful proverb here that says, a beautiful quote that says, we are not Africans because we were born in Africa. We are Africans because Africa is born in us. That's a quote by Kwame Nkrumah. Wow, okay. Share with us your interpretation of today's proverb. A parasite cannot live alone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon. A parasite cannot live alone. So that means usually when I think of a parasite, I'm thinking of the host and some kind of bug or virus or something. And so I think I understand that very well, that they are going to benefit from their host. But then I try to look at it on as people. And when I heard people talking, I said, let me go back and look at this definition. And so it says that benefits at the expense of others. So sometimes I would think, oh, I don't do that. But no matter what comes up now, I think, how am I like that? So I'd say, how am I like a parasite? And I would have to say that when I take at the expense of others to my benefit, it's when my emotions are out of control. Either I'm too angry or too poor me or whatever. So I look at these things, it is what it is, because they don't live alone. So this energy exists. So it becomes not how am I going to get rid of it? How am I going to manage it? So I begin to look at what am I believing in my anger or in my poor me? Is it accurate? Is it still true? To be able to balance it out. And then I feel that our words that we use sometimes are parasitic. In the Black community, at least here in the States, we continue to say the struggle continues. And I've been fighting for people to, since we are talking so much about mindset, to talk, we are being restored. It is what we say it is. And when you struggle, you're not moving. And a lot of times when people have their anti-abortion, anti-poverty, we use that same word, which is parasitic. Poverty is parasitic. That what we give attention to increases. So that's why I always look at my participation in these things that we might not think are good. But if they exist, then indeed I must manage it. I would say I'm parasitic because can be too much of a giver. If I'm giving and it's not benefiting that other person, but just because it makes me happy to give, I give, then I need to manage that part of the parasitic. But my goal would be to not be parasitic. I don't want to be benefiting at the expense of anybody else. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm back, Simon.
Wonderful. I'll go ahead and pass the mic to Joanne also to share her perspectives. Kay, thank you so much for such powerful words of wisdom. I appreciate your presence. Joanne is also an amazing contributor to the Daily African Proverbs. She's going to be co-hosting the recap of the Daily African Proverbs along with Raphael, my wonderful brother from Nigeria via Ghana, via Brooklyn. Join us for that. It's happening right after this room ends. Joanne is primarily focused on climate justice, equity, and equality for all. She's got experience in finance law reform, public policy reform. She's an expert in dialogue, negotiation, and mediation. Joanne, share with us your interpretation for today's proverb from Namibia. The mic is yours.
Thank you very much, Simon, for this opportunity. Like I always say, the daily proverbs has become an addiction for me, and I just want to be grateful for providing this platform. And thank you very much to Taleni for being today's guest. Yeah, I was busy chatting on YouTube on Namibia and your beef, because as a public policy expert, time and again I advise the Kenyan State Department of Livestock on policy issues, and I know that we import quite a bit of your Sahiwal breed of cattle into the country because they're very resilient. And thank you very much for just the contribution you've given to the platform today. And to go to the proverb, a parasite cannot live alone. I just want to reiterate what everyone has said. There's no positive or negative aspect to it, according to me, even though we view a parasite negatively. But then again, when you think through deeply, who and what isn't a parasite? We are all parasites because we thrive as living beings through interaction, through coexistence with one another, because we live in an ecosystem. And so we need each other to thrive, absolutely. We need Mother Earth to grow food. We are parasites. We need each other to learn, like you're doing now. We are parasites. So I think even though we think parasites are supposed to be viewed negatively, I don't think we should. But then again, we must not take advantage or exploit one another, even as we coexist as, human beings. We must not take each other for granted, and the favors that probably are extended to us are things we should appreciate and not take advantage of. That's what I have to say for now. Simon will meet you at Instagram. And thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Of course, John, you're most welcome, and thank you for your wonderful words of wisdom. I do have something here real quick that I want to do. It's just an exercise. If you go to my Instagram, there's a link on my bio. It's a link to my website. There's a shop that just launched on my website, and the website is also, upgraded. I would love for you to go to my latest Instagram post, which is today's proverb that we are discussing, and just say yes if you want that proverb to be turned into the first mug, the first daily African proverbs mug that you can use to drink tea. We've been looking for a proverb that is thought-provoking and is short and sweet, and this one seems to qualify. So, and just share why you think this should go in the first mug and the first t-shirts, in addition to everything we already have in the shop. If you go to the shop now, we primarily have things, merchandise for One Vibe Africa, because that's the brand that I'm known for. I founded One Vibe Africa in 2008, and I can talk to you all about that sometime. By the way, last night we held a really beautiful room in the One Vibe Africa club here on Clubhouse. We talked about traveling together to Nairobi. So if you want to join those conversations, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we just talk about traveling from across the diaspora to the continent, specifically to Kenya. I've been doing that for a while, and I'm currently enlisting people to travel to Kenya with me next year, September. So I'm beginning to just enlist people, know who is interested, and then, continue providing them with information and working on how to make it happen together. So let me know in the DM if you want to talk more about that. But at this point, again, thank you, Joanne. Ivnia, share with us briefly your interpretation of today's proverb, and also any comments to our wonderful brother, Tutaleni. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Brother Simon. Dr. Asino, thank you so much for being here, my Oklahoma brother. I was just reading your bio and said, oh, Oklahoma. Well, we both okay. So great to meet you. Although I'd love to maybe travel to Stillwater sometimes and meet you uh, there at the university. This proverb uh, cannot leave, a parasite cannot live alone. And what's surprising to me is that most of us will look at the two sides of the proverb, but I like to look at that one side only, is that there are, so there's a saying that it is not good for men to live alone. That's one. And this proverb, which makes me reflect on that statement alone. We human beings, we are social creatures. That means we are hardwired to make connections with others and join groups with others. That's why we here right now. Simon created this group because he thought those proverbs can be thought provoking, they can inspire, they can motivate other humans. And this is why the ancestors use those proverbs, because they believe that they will inspire, motivate, they will help change lives. In order for us to succeed in life, in order for us to just simply live, we have to be connected with other people. So the point is, just like Joan said, just like Lexi said, we are all parasites. We are all parasites because we cannot live without each other. A lion can kill a single human being very easily, but 20 humans, not so easy. So we all paradise. We need each other. We need to be able to coexist peacefully on this earth the way that we were intended to. And the other point I wanted to make, which is a bit motivational, we have some parasites inside of us that we need to activate. Without our help, they will die. Those are our dreams, our goals, and aspiration. They need us for them to be able to live. Those parasites are the things that we feel sometimes that we want to do, but though it's difficult, we don't feel that urge. We don't feel that desire to take them and just go with it. We need to activate those parasites so that they don't die. And Dr. Sino, and coming back to you, you said something in your bio that hopefully I can hear you talk more because I wasn't here at the beginning. And you said something very interesting. You said, and I will read it. You said that you're concerned not just with how things impact you and how immediate community in which you find yourself, but believing that knowing how others do, view, and see things significantly help you better understand yourself and the world which you travel. I don't know if you're going to have time, but I would love for you to talk a bit about that, and hopefully uh, others will enjoy that as well. My name is Ifnea, and I release the mic.
Thank you so much, Ivnia. I think that's an indication that we should have Tutaleni join us again soon. So Tutaleni, I'll connect with you and we'll find part 2 where we can, talk more about what Ivnia is suggesting. I know you have to run, so Jay, I would love for you to close us out. So let's hear Tutaleni's closing remarks and we'll let him go because he has to go to a meeting, and then Jay is going to close us out. If you're just joining us, this is the Daily African Proverbs. These days we try and bring in guests, and we do the interviews on YouTube where you can see who the guest is, and we bring it here on Clubhouse as well. I would love for you to let me know who else you want us to host, and also let David know who else you want us to host in the African Wisdom Club. That's every Friday, 8:30 p.m. PST. If you also know somebody that is in the travel industry, especially in Kenya, that you want us to host for the, for the Tuesday sessions in the One Vibe Africa Club, also let me know. Tutaleni, please.
Simon, thank you so much, of course, for the invitation. And I love engaging with you. I think our energy recognize each other way back, and it's been consistent ever since. So, Yuznia, I did not recognize that we're both in Oklahoma, so we have to make a point to connect at some point. Tulsa is not that far away from Stillwater, so I love these proverbs and I love this room because I end up leaving nourished because there's so many different interpretations of this. The only thing that I think I want us to think about here is the reason why we look down upon the parasite, and the reason why we have issues with a parasitic relationship is because we have gotten conditioned to believing that every relationship has to be a give and take. And sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's okay to serve without getting anything in return. Sometimes it's okay to give without receiving. And the act of giving itself is just as important, and it's valuable, it's nourishing. So even though we think of a parasite as something that just sucking the blood and taking a ride on the elephant for free, um, you know, sometimes as human being, it is okay for us to give. So we have to really be able to distinguish between what kind of giving we are okay to do without receiving benefits, and when is it okay for us to stop freely giving. We also know from medical science that not all parasites are bad. Some parasites are important to the human body. So, for example, your stomach, a lot of those gut bacteria also come from parasite. Parasitic infections can have a lot of protective effect against a lot of other diseases like allergies and so on. So parasitic relationship might not always be a negative thing necessarily. It is okay to give. Um, I am I was happy to have been here. Thank you very much, Simon, for invitation, and I would love to have that conversation that Yevnia brought up in his remark, because I'm trained as a comparativist, and I can talk more about what that means. But that really, I do really believe that I benefit as much from learning about other people as they benefit from learning from me about me. So I'm appreciative of this opportunity. I have to run to another meeting, but I appreciate the opportunity, and it seems like I have converted people to Namibian meat. So that's all I'm seeing here on the chat. So maybe one day we'll meet up in person in Seattle and have some Namibian meat and some goat meat. So thank you, Simon.
Oh, thank you so much, my brother. Have a beautiful day, and yes, we will definitely be tasting some of the Namibian meat and goat meat. Of course, Kenya is very popular when it comes to nyama choma, and that is primarily goat meat. Tutaleni, thank you again for being here with us. I'm sure we will be having you back soon, and Ivnia, I would love to have you co-host that conversation. So thank you again, Tutaleni. Have a beautiful day. And now we want to go and listen to my beautiful, wonderful friend, Jay. Jay is going to share with us her interpretation of today's proverb, and then we are going to wrap up the YouTube live stream as well as the Clubhouse conversation so that we can go and do the recap. Joanne Onyango Obunga, who has been on YouTube with us today and also on Clubhouse, is going to join us. Joanne is in Nairobi, and also Raphael, who is in Germany, is also going to join us on Instagram for the recap, where we will talk about 3 things. Number 1, we will talk about what stood out. Number 2, we will talk about what was surprising. And number 3, we will talk about the biggest lesson from our conversation with Brother Tutaleni from Namibia today. Now, Jay Ware says that the world is thirsty for kindness and happiness, integrity, truthfulness, and love. Be a rejuvenating and refreshing cold glass of water. Jay is a playwright, a poet, a spoken word artist, creator of Club Just for Children, pretend singer, musician, and she's saying that go to YouTube so that you can watch her performance, amazing performance at Madaraka Festival this year. Jay, close us out, please. The mic is yours.
Oh, I just love you, Brother Simon. Thank you so much. Because I know you need to close out very quickly, so I'm going to quickly say the negative about a parasite, and then I'm going to move to the positive about a parasite. So for me, the first thing that came to mind is that a parasite is a narcissist. That's the first thing that came to mind, is someone that only cares about themselves, and the whole goal and whole intent of getting close to you and getting inside of you is to use you until they use you up like a tumor that grows slowly. And they don't care about how it impacts or affects you. The whole goal is that they're self-motivated and they're hurtful and greedy. So you need to be aware of someone who has parasitic tendencies, and to be wise and not allow someone who acts and behaves and conducts themselves, it's clearly, if you're thinking clearly, self-motivated. Okay, now the positive is that, I don't know, when I think of these parables many times, Simon, you come to mind. But a road is paved with the parables, the parasites of parables. A road is paved with the parasites of parables that lead to Simon. And that those parasitic parables invade you in a positive, loving, encouraging, uplifting, collaborative, supportive way. So it's for the good of both the host that hosts the parable and one that gives the parable, that invades your heart and your mind and your body in a way that's going to make you a better person, a better human being, a better family member, a better community member, a better person for your tribe. This is Jay, and I'm finished speaking. Thank you so much, and God bless everyone in this room.
Thank you so much, Jay. This is Simon. I am so grateful. I am grateful, for your wonderful, encouraging, and kind words. I am also grateful to everyone in the room. There are so many of you here that I consider friends now. Avishta, thank you for being here. Frida, Dako, hi. Dawn, Telma, Tara, brother. Faline, nice to see you as well. I see Erica, Selama, Ruthmila. Thank you all for being here. We are going to head to Instagram and do the live recap of today's conversation. If you have time, join us there. Thank you, and we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have really an amazing guest. His name is Jay Naidu. He is the former Minister of Communication for South Africa. He was the Minister of Communication in South Africa when Nelson Mandela was the president. So he's such an amazing elder that you have to show up for the conversation I will be having with him. So help me spread the word. It will be tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, and take good care of yourselves. Peace and love.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.